songs, and nobody played about Ashlee. Nobody.
We're not going to take my friend's prior experience relationships with black males and make it the reason why this happened to her.
When they returned, the lights in the villa were off and they did not get an answer from Ashlee. So that's when they used an emergency key card to enter and then found
Makes me think of the Shaquanella Robinson case that happened in Cabo. Nothing to date has happened because there just wasn't enough evidence.
He waited 11 hours to call her family. And when he finally did, he told them she was okay. By every account, she was in the best chapter of her life. Engaged, celebrating, posting from paradise. She told her mother she was happy. Her mother found out she was dead. From the hotel. Not from him. Not from the man who proposed to her 4 days earlier. From the hotel. If you watched our first episode on this case, you already know the foundation. But for anyone just joining us, here's what you need to know before we get into what has happened since. Ashlee Jenae, real name Ashlee Robinson, was a 31-year-old lifestyle influencer from Miami. Over 130,000 followers on Instagram. A brand built on the soft life movement. The idea that black women deserve joy, luxury, and intentional love without apology. She was the living proof of that message. And then she died in a hotel room in Zanzibar, Tanzania, under circumstances that have divided the internet, alarmed her family, and triggered an international investigation that is still, as of right now, wide open. Here's the short version of what we know from episode 1. Ashlee and her fiancé, Joseph Isaac McCann, 45-year-old founder and CEO of crypto investment firm Asymmetric Financial, checked into the luxury Zuri Zanzibar resort on April 6, 2026. They were there to celebrate her 31st birthday and their newly announced engagement. He had proposed on Safari. She said yes. She posted the moment. The world watched and celebrated. 4 days later, she was dead. On the night of April 8th, after a fight severe enough for other guests to report it to management, the couple was separated. McCann moved to a separate villa approximately 10 minutes away on foot. Hotel staff, concerned about Ashlee's state of mind, reportedly contacted local authorities. Hours later, she was found unresponsive in her room. She was rushed to hospital and pronounced dead. Tanzanian authorities ruled it suicide. Her family said no, and the questions began piling up. Now, since that episode dropped, this case has moved, new voices have spoken, new details have surfaced. And the man at the center of all of it has finally, in some form, broken his silence. So let's get into it. Let's start with the timeline, because the timeline is everything in this update. And there is one number that keeps coming up every single time this family speaks. 11. 11 hours. Chapter 1. She was 31 years old, full of life, and on what everyone thought was the trip of a lifetime. Ashlee Robinson, known to over 130,000 Instagram followers as Ashlee Jenae, had built a career out of sharing her world, her fashion, her travels, her joy. So when she packed her bags for Zanzibar in early April 2026, her followers were watching, excited for her next chapter. What none of them could have imagined was that this trip would be her last. She traveled to the East African island with her boyfriend, Joseph Isaac McCann, a 45-year-old Miami-based entrepreneur and founder of the crypto investment management firm Asymmetric Financial. McCann was no ordinary businessman. His resume listed stints at Microsoft, Passport Capital, and NodeSource, a venture-backed startup that exited in 2019. He carried himself as a man of means and influence, the kind of man who could take the woman he loved to a luxury villa on an island paradise. And for a brief shining moment, the dream felt real. The couple checked into the upscale Zuri Zanzibar Hotel on Nungwi Beach on April 4, 2026, to celebrate Ashlee's birthday in style. Somewhere along the way during a safari that took their breath away, Joe got down on one knee. Ashlee said yes. Her family later described the moment. Surrounded by beauty, love, and wildlife, she became engaged during a safari, an unforgettable moment that marked the start of a future she was so excited to build. That future would never come. Within days, something had gone terribly wrong inside those luxury walls, and by April 9th, Ashlee Robinson was gone. If this story has you gripped, like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator. We follow every development, so you never miss a thing. Chapter 2. The paradise cracked almost immediately after the engagement. Witnesses at the Zuri Zanzibar Hotel would later tell investigators that Ashlee Robinson and Joe McCann were not the picture of a happy, newly engaged couple. From the moment they arrived on April 4th, the two were quarreling, frequently and visibly enough that hotel staff and guests took notice. The arguments continued for days, stretching from April 4 through April 8, growing in intensity with each passing night. On the evening of April 8, things reached a breaking point. Hotel management made the decision to intervene and physically separate the couple, moving McCann to a separate villa approximately a 10-minute walk from where Ashlee remained. It was an extraordinary measure, the kind of step a luxury resort takes only when a situation becomes impossible to ignore. Ashlee called her mother that same night. Yolanda Denise Endries picked up the phone to hear her daughter's voice, strained and uncertain, telling her that she and Joe had argued and that the hotel had moved them apart. It was a call that, in hindsight, carried the weight of a final warning. Hours later, a hotel worker discovered Ashlee Robinson unresponsive in a closet inside her villa, a belt around her neck. She was rushed to a local hospital. She never regained consciousness. On April 9, 2026, Ashlee Robinson was pronounced dead. Back in New Jersey, her family was still waiting by their phones, hoping for good news, and the calls that came would shatter them completely. Stay with us as this story unfolds. Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator so you're always the first to know. Chapter 3. When Ashlee Robinson's family finally heard that something was wrong, the information came in fragments, and the silence from Joe McCann made it all far worse. The first call came from McCann himself, telling Yolanda Endries that Ashlee was in the hospital. But when her mother pressed him for details, asking when it happened and where, McCann revealed that the incident had occurred 11 hours before he made that call. 11 hours. After that single call, McCann went quiet. He did not reach out again. The next update the Robinson family received did not come from him. It came from the hotel, which informed them that Ashlee had died. The fiancé did not reach out to us at all, we found out from the hotel, her father Harry Robinson told reporters. That's devastating when your daughter's halfway around the world. We just wanted to know where she was at, who she was with, and that she was okay. Just give us something. The family was left scrambling for information, thousands of miles away. They didn't know the full circumstances of Ashlee's death. They didn't know the state of the investigation. What they did know was that their daughter, who Harry described as someone who was always smiling and loved being in front of the camera, was gone. And her fiancé had nothing to say. McCann soon made his social media profiles private and updated his profile picture. The man who had just placed an engagement ring on Ashlee Robinson's finger had gone completely silent, while her family grieved, and a nation began to ask questions. Don't miss a single update. Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator and stay ahead of the story. Chapter 4. 4 days after Ashlee Robinson died, Tanzanian authorities made a significant move. On April 13, 2026, Joseph Isaac McCann was formally called in for questioning by investigators in Zanzibar. Authorities also confiscated his passport, making clear he would not be leaving the island until the investigation reached a conclusion. Officials were careful in their language, stating publicly that McCann was being questioned as a witness, not as a suspect, and that no charges had been filed. The Deputy Director of Investigations in Zanzibar, Zuberi Chembera, declined to elaborate on the details of the probe, telling reporters that the investigation was ongoing. The Zanzibar government's Ministry of Tourism and Heritage issued a public statement urging patience. We respectfully request continued patience and understanding as law enforcement officials proceed with their investigation, ensuring due process and upholding integrity for all parties concerned. The statement read. Meanwhile, Tanzanian authorities had presented their own account of Ashlee's death, one that her family refused to accept. Local officials ruled the death a suicide, stating that Robinson had been found after apparently attempting to hang herself from her door, using fabric from her clothing tied to a wardrobe. The family rejected this version of events immediately and completely. Nothing about it makes sense. It just doesn't add up, Harry Robinson said. The U.S. State Department confirmed it was monitoring the case. The American embassy in Dar es Salaam dispatched a coroner to assist with the autopsy, a sign of the growing international pressure surrounding what was becoming a high-profile investigation. Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator. We break it all down so you don't have to search for answers alone. Chapter 5. As the investigation deepened, Ashlee Robinson's family took matters into their own hands. Harry Robinson, her father, launched a GoFundMe campaign on April 14, 2026, with a goal of $50,000 to cover travel, funeral expenses, and the cost of pursuing answers abroad. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Within days, the campaign had raised over $63,000, a testament to how deeply the public had connected with Ashlee's story. In the fundraiser, Harry Robinson and Yolanda Denise Endries wrote with raw honesty about what they were facing. A trip that was meant to be a dream had become our family's worst nightmare. They described navigating an ongoing investigation while being thousands of miles away, trying to bring their daughter home with dignity. Harry Robinson traveled to Washington, D.C. to press U.S. government officials directly for assistance in reaching Tanzanian authorities. That effort yielded results. Contact was made, and the family was informed that a Tanzanian autopsy had been completed on April 14th. But the full results were never shared with them. They were told only that the investigation remained ongoing. Determined not to rely solely on foreign authorities, the family commissioned an independent autopsy of their own. Results were still pending as the weeks passed. The family also made it clear they wanted access to the resort's surveillance footage. Cameras that Harry Robinson believed would reveal exactly what happened to his daughter on the night of April 8th. "There's cameras everywhere at a resort, and that will match the timeline," he said. "Just do the investigation and let us know." The family's fight for truth is just beginning. Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator, because justice starts with awareness. Chapter 6. While the investigation continued across the ocean, one critical detail emerged that sharpened the family's grief into something more acute. Ashlee Robinson's engagement ring was missing. When her remains were finally returned to her family in New Jersey on Friday, April 25, 2026, none of her personal belongings came with her. Not her clothes, not her other possessions, and not the ring that Joe McCann had placed on her finger just days before she died. Harry Robinson told TMZ that the family believed the items were still being held by Tanzanian investigators as part of the active case. But the absence of the ring, a symbol of the future Ashlee had believed she was stepping into, added a layer of grief that words could barely contain. The family had said she was excited about becoming a mother, about building a life. That ring had represented all of it. With Ashlee's body back on American soil, the family began planning a funeral service in New Jersey for the following week. It would be a farewell to a woman who had made strangers feel like friends through a screen, a content creator who turned her life into connection. But even as they prepared to say goodbye, the family remained in contact with almost no one from the other side of what had happened. McCann had still not reached out meaningfully. The hotel surveillance footage they had been pushing for had still not been handed over. The full autopsy results, both Tanzanian and independent, remained unreleased. For a family seeking closure, every door they knocked on stayed firmly shut. We're covering every twist and turn. Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator. You deserve the full picture. Chapter 7. For weeks, Joe McCann had said nothing. He had made his social media private, stepped away from public view, and left a vacuum of silence that the internet filled with speculation. Ashlee's family had heard almost nothing directly from him. The world had heard even less. Then on May 5, 2026, that silence broke. McCann posted a statement to social media, his first public word since Ashlee's death. He opened with, "There are no adequate words to describe the total devastation, emptiness, and shock I feel after losing my best friend, confidant, and fiancé, Ashlee Jenae Robinson." He went on to express sympathy for her parents directly. "As a father myself, I am also heartbroken for Ashlee's parents, Yolanda Endries and Harry Robinson. Ashlee's death is an incomprehensible tragedy." He added something that struck many as particularly poignant given the circumstances. What Ashlee desired most was to become a mother and to raise a family together. There is no question that she would have been an amazing mom. The statement was emotional, measured, and notably free of any explanation about the events of April 8th, or his delay in contacting her family. Reaction was immediate and divided. Some took the statement at face value, a grieving man finally finding words. Others questioned why it had taken nearly a month, why it offered no accountability, and why it addressed the world before it addressed her family. Harry Robinson and Yolanda Andres had publicly expressed their pain at being left in the dark. McCann's statement did not appear to fill that silence for them. The silence is finally broken, but has it said enough? Like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator for the complete analysis. Chapter 8. The case of Ashlee Jenae Robinson sits at the intersection of grief, international law, social media, and unanswered questions. As of May 2026, no charges have been filed. The Tanzanian autopsy results have not been publicly released. The independent autopsy commissioned by her family is still pending. The hotel surveillance footage has not been made public. And Joe McCann, though he has now spoken, remains free. What the world knows is this. A 31-year-old woman traveled to paradise with the man who had just proposed to her, and she did not come home. Witnesses say the couple fought repeatedly. Hotel staff separated them the night she died. Her mother received a panicked call from her daughter hours before it happened, and the man she was engaged to waited 11 hours to call her family, and weeks to say anything publicly at all. Her parents, Harry Robinson and Yolanda Denise Andres, have not wavered. They do not accept the suicide ruling. They want the surveillance footage. They want transparency from Tanzanian authorities. They want to know what truly happened to their daughter in that villa on Nungwi Beach. My daughter, Ashlee, she's no longer here with us, Yolanda said, and we're trying to find out why. Ashlee Robinson was a daughter, a content creator, a woman who loved animals and travel and making people smile. She deserved better than unanswered questions, and her family, and the hundreds of thousands of people who have followed this story, deserve the truth. This investigation is ongoing, and we will be here every step of the way. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe to The Crime Narrator. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. We tell the stories that demand to be told, and we don't stop until there are answers.